There's an opportunity if you're sailing Savage or Optimist to go to a Shadden series in an FJ, or an ULLMAN Frost series in a laser, or any of those other things. So that kind of 7th and 8th grade, and things start to take shape usually by the time you're getting late in 8th grade. You may have decided whether it's the laser radial or the FJ. You'll notice that you can sail all of those in Southern California. The Shadden series and the ULLMAN Frost series and even the Perry series in 420 are all on different weekends. And so if you are so inclined to sail a laser radial, an FJ, and a 420, you can do it. And a lot of these kids are and have been doing that. So organizing your schedule and committing a fair amount of time can be part of the equation. 9th grade, 8th and 9th grade is where the high school thing starts to come. And we integrated this about 20 years ago, and it's been just a huge success in that our FJ and our laser and our 420 sailing directly correlates to what's going on in high school. We have 92 high schools this year in California and Hawaii. We have a whole other spectrum of regattas. We get 50 to 60 high school teams at our major regattas. And so looking into high school sailing is something that you should be doing by the time you're in 8th grade. There are a number of rules that allow 8th graders to participate in high school sailing. You become a full, legitimate high school sailor at 9th to 12th grade at the school that you go. The one thing to keep in mind is that a high school team is just like a high school water polo team or basketball team. You gotta have a team. And we went from 9 high school teams in 1989 to 92 now, simply by kids and parents like yourselves helping to create and make those teams become a reality. So PCISA is on here as the second organization, and we have a great website, and you can go there. And again, a whole other calendar of events. Most of those events are on the SCYYRA calendar, but if you haven't thought about high school sailing, that's where to go. So now you're a 9th, 10th grader. You're sailing FJs probably in high school because that's the primary boat that we sail. Maybe you've decided that the laser is a cool thing, or maybe you're really into double-handed sailing and you've probably begun to think about or already added the 420 as a double-handed opportunity with trapeze. So you can learn to sail the FJ without a spinnaker in the high school stuff, add the spinnaker for the Shadden series and the FJ Nationals and the Junior Olympic Regatta, and then add the 420 with the trapeze and a whole other set of skills to put into your equation. Again, we're 9th, 10th graders, a whole lot of opportunities there. And so these guys are going to talk about a lot of the opportunities that come after that. I'm going to stay focused on the organizations and kind of how you get through high school. A lot of people are concerned about the cost of these things, and rightfully so. Except that I'm here to tell you, with a couple of kids that play soccer and a whole family that sails, that if you do it reasonably and you're not too concerned about the trips to Italy for 12-year-olds, that this sport doesn't necessarily have to be a whole lot more expensive than soccer or basketball or anything that you make a huge commitment to. There's an equipment factor, but there's a whole lot of ways to skin that cat. A lot of the yacht clubs own boats. A lot of the high school programs have access to boats. There are a lot of boats available. And again, you can sail from San Diego to Santa Barbara just about every weekend of the year in high-level competition without spending a fortune traveling around the world. And you'll still have the opportunity to become one of the best sailors in the country, if not the world. So, don't be intimidated. There are some cool opportunities that come later on when you're, in my opinion, 16, 17 years old, that you ought to be thinking about if you've done all your homework and gotten yourself there, to think about traveling to Italy or other places. And there are a whole lot of organizations out there to help you. One of which is listed here, which is CISA, California International Sailing Association. Along this path, when you get to kind of the 9th or 10th grade, the CISA clinic will kind of become something that is probably pretty important to you. It's a 4-day intense clinic with some of the best coaches in the world, and it is a way to really move your game forward in whichever boat you choose: lasers, laser radials, FJs, 420s, 29ers, and I-420s, all participating in that clinic. But SCYYRA is also a funding organization, and they're very generous. We send 30 to 50 kids to Florida for the Orange Bowl every January. There are $500 grants. They don't do grants in Optimus, they just do grants for the older kids in Lasers 420s. But that, getting involved with SCYYRA, the SCYYRA clinic, and some of the opportunities that SCYYRA can support you with, can really help the funding. The next thing that usually comes up is, well, okay, how does all this, what's this going to do for college? And of course, the biggest question is, and so where do I fill out my college sailing scholarship application? And you may have already heard the harsh reality, but the college sailing organization has a very simple rule that you may not receive financial aid based on sailing ability. If you do, you're no longer an eligible college sailor, which means no scholarships. Why is that? There are 200 college teams in the country, and they range from very large private and public institutions to very small junior colleges and regional colleges, and they all race together. And if scholarships were allowed, it wouldn't be an even playing field, and we figure that it would go from 200 to maybe 50 colleges would actually be participating in the program. So you're still eligible for other sports scholarships, you're still eligible for any kind of academic scholarship, you're still eligible for any kind of financial aid, you just can't receive anything based on your sailing ability. And in the 20 to 30 years that I've been involved, that's created a really cool atmosphere where the kids that are sailing because they love it. They're going to college because, for the right reasons in most cases, because that's where they're getting their education, and sailing is like this cool thing that they do as an additional activity and an enrichment to their college education. I see a lot of occasional situations where everybody's, well, I got to get all ramped up for this because it's going to be my ticket into college, and the answer is that that's probably not true. It can be that one other thing on your resume that might help make some difference, but it certainly is not something that is going to change a C average into a A- and get you into colleges that you wouldn't otherwise. And there are club teams that are completely student run, and I've seen a whole lot of kids in my 30 years involvement with college sailing get a great deal of satisfaction out of the whole opportunity to help run and build a team. So sometimes everybody's looking for that varsity status. You know, what does varsity status mean? Probably means there's a paid coach, and probably means that there's more of a budget, but the club team can be potentially more interesting if you're interested in being involved in helping make that team do something. UC Santa Barbara, UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, now UC Irvine, all have club teams, very, very successful, very well-run programs that you can get involved in and participate in. So I encourage parents that are interested in helping their kids through this maze of alphabet soup to get involved and go to those meetings, sit in on a few meetings and see what's going on, kind of understand how things work and how the schedule ends up the way it does. There are great websites and email lists on all these organizations that you should go not only review the websites, but sign up for the email list so that information is coming to you, new announcements about things like this seminar and other activities.